Hi, everyone, and welcome to this first Mindset Zoom. I want to start with a few things before I go through the actual presentation that I created for you. So, one thing I just wanted to say today, we're going to be building two blocks basically, and these two blocks are going to help with the conversation that we can have afterwards when we talk about these things. It's getting the language kind of the same between us. And these two things that I'm going to teach today are very crucial to the ability to change your life, basically. Um, it's a tip of on the iceberg, tip of the tip of the tip. But basically, I kind of say, kind of turn it around and look at the base, not at the tip, and take this as building blocks for really the basic of this teaching that will always be what we are talking about. And through that, we will be understanding different things in this uh, conversation. Okay. So, hi everybody, and welcome to this Zoom that we're doing about mindset. So today we're going to be, I'll be giving you like building blocks that are for the whole conversation that we will be able to have afterwards about mindset. So there are going to be two specific things that I'm going to be talking about today. One is the operating system that we're all working on, and the other thing is the chemistry lab, and you'll understand more once we get to it. So I do want to say do not feel bad about anything that we talk about today, because you might take it to a place saying, "Oh, I wish I knew better. I wish I did it differently when my kids were young or whatever." Don't go there. Everything's okay. Everything you did is okay, and it's a learning process. And the fact that you're here is actually an amazing thing, and it means that you do want to learn how to change things in your life now. And it's better later than never. So this is the time for you, and I'm so happy that you're going to be part of this journey together with me. Um, so yeah, we're going to start. I always say I can simplify different ideas and teach them. That's something that I like doing and I'm good at. Graphics is not my best, so take it into consideration when we go through the presentation itself. So, okay, let me get the presentation here. All right, here we go. Okay, so our presentation is going to be the script writer, and basically, I call it become the script writer. Obviously, you will figure it out more as we go. And here we start. So, congratulations. It's a girl. Yeah, there's a baby that's going to be born to this young, beautiful couple. And she's going to be starting her life in this world. Now, I want you to think about this for a second as a computer, okay? Or as a computer as we used to do it when we were 30 years ago, if you were alive. So, you would go, you'd buy a computer, it would be only the metal pieces. You would have to buy an operating system separately, and then you take that operating system and connect it into the computer. And that's only when you can start actually working on this computer. So this little sweet girl in her mother's womb right now is actually going to start um, waking up. Let's call it in the third trimester. The third trimester is when the brain starts working, and that's like the equivalent of taking this computer that we bought and connecting it right now to the electrical outlet. So once you connected it to the outlet, everything starts powering on. And that's what happens in the third trimester. We have the brain that starts working basically, and it starts creating neural connections that they are the ones that will be in our baby's operating system and will allow that baby to do different functions the minute they're born. For example, to know how to nurse. So, all those neural connections are created already while the baby is in the womb. And once they come out, they have a very, very basic operating system that they can do certain things. And that's how they start their life. So the baby is born. Congratulations, you have a girl. Yay, she was born. And now there's a 7 year time that this baby is not with a conscious mind. It's on what we call theta waves, which is hypnosis. Okay. It's in a hypnosis mode, meaning they absorb but they don't create new. So they're absorbing everything from sorry, from their surroundings, and they're creating through that a operating system that they are going to work on. So let's take, for example, a kid starting to walk. Okay. They see their parent, they see what they do, they have in their brain the idea that they can do it too. They get themselves ready to figure out how to do it. Now they start, right? What do? They pull themselves a little bit, they push up, they start moving higher, they do all kinds of things. And at this point, if we think of our computer, they're using a lot of RAM from this computer because they have to calculate things all the time. It's very, unique. It's new. They have to know what to do. And they are working and working on it all the time until one day what happens? They figure it out and they start walking, sorry. So, all right. What did they do? First, they saw that person walking. So they had the idea in their mind, if they can do it, I can do it. I really like that concept. I use it a lot when I teach my master class too, because everything, and also in business, if you see somebody who is able to do something like make 200, 300, $400,000 a year, you can do it too. So it's a very good motto to remind yourself. So it starts from when you're babies. So if my parents can walk, I can walk. And I try and I figure it out and I learned how to walk. Once this baby starts walking, what happens? The neural connection is created. Okay. It becomes part of their operating system. And once it's one of their operating system, there's no need for RAM anymore. They don't need to calculate anything anymore. Why? Because it becomes like autopilot. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just walk because it's a neural connection and it's part of your operating system. Okay. So let's take another situation. For example, so this baby has parents, and her parents, sorry, are really, really lovey-dovey and happy and have a great life, and they're hugging and kissing in front of the baby, and they're very happy. And the baby is seeing this. So again, through repetitive action, that's how our brain can. That's how the brain makes these neural connections. So he sees it once, he sees it twice, he sees the mother feels good, the father feels good, she's laughing, he's laughing, the baby's feeling good, the young kid is feeling good. And after a certain amount of time, there's a neural connection that's created that puts it into the operating system that when he sees a couple, okay, he feels good. He thinks marriage is good, happy is good. Couples, should be happy. I mean, that's what he is programmed on right now. On the other hand, you can have exactly the opposite. You can have a couple that's yelling and screaming, and they don't have money, and the dad is saying something to the mom, and the mom is saying to the dad, you have to go get another job. You have to get another job. We don't have enough money. We can't do this. We can't do that. And this is something that the baby kid is observing. So again, absorbing, sorry. So he sees it again and again. And after, a certain amount of time, neural connection is created. It becomes part of their program. What's in the program? Money is hard to make. Money, it makes my parents upset. So I don't want money. It makes people upset because anything, that can be from that situation is creating a narrow connection and goes into the operating system. Okay. So this is the situation of this kid from the age 0 to 7. What happens after that? Well, at the age 7, we actually get a conscious mind. That's when we start being able to think and not just be in hypnosis mode and not only react to what the environment is showing us. So the conscious mind is able to do a few different things. Okay. First of all, it's still working on this operating system that was created in this environment of 0 to 7. Okay. Now, who programmed this system? Let's think about this for a second. All of the programming that has created our operating system that this little girl is going to be working with for the rest of her life was all created by her parents. Okay. So, can we say that this operating system is this baby's operating system? Is that who she is? Well, no. This operating system is who her parents are because everything that went into that operating system was through her parents mainly, and maybe a little more, around, but mainly it's through our parents. Okay. So, that's the first mind-boggling thing to think about. I mean, when we grow up and we have our life and we're like, this is me, it's not you. It's mostly your parents. And you will find it happening a lot of times that you say, oh my God, I did this. I reminded me of my mother, or I said this, I said it just like my mother. Or you look at somebody, a brother or something and say, oh my God, you sound just like dad. And we're thinking this because, oh, we just are, from that environment, so we remember and we kind of say the same, but it's much more embedded into our body. It's our operating system. Now, if you don't know that, you continue your life the whole time, living your life on your parents' operating system, becoming your parents at the end, or you're becoming your parents from the age of 0, but acknowledging it maybe at the end of your life, thinking that you're different, but at the end you're not. And that is, the first thing to think about. So once the conscious mind comes in, there are two things that the conscious mind can do. One, it can think, and it thinks all the time about things that happened in the past. Okay. So what can I do? Is it a to-do list, or what's happening in my life? Like, I don't have money, I don't have clients, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Whatever it is, it's all about the past. And what happens is when you're focused on the past, you're shutting down everything that has to do with the future. You cannot deal with being creative and happy and whatever and doing stuff for your future. You're only stuck in this past. And the past is also something that's working on your old operating system, or your operating system is not old, your first and only. So you keep doing also the same and the same and the same. Now, you cannot expect a new outcome if you're going to be continuing working on the same operating system. Now, if take for example, if you have a old computer from 20 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever, and even now you want to run all kinds of AI systems now on that computer, you cannot run those systems on that operating system because it cannot support it in any way. You need a new computer, you need a new operating system in order to be able to run all these new programs. That's exactly the same about us. If we want to be able to use new and different kinds of programs, we're totally going to have to change our operating system. So the second thing that the conscious mind does it. It knows how to imagine, and that's where you have your wishes and desires, and that's where you can basically create your future. And that's the time that you're thinking about. You're really in your future. Okay, but what did scientists find? That 95% of the day you're thinking about the past. 95% of the day you're working on your old operating system and you're thinking about everything that is the past. You can call it reality, you can call it it's the truth, it's what's happening right now. You think that it's now, but it's all past. This word that I just said now is already in the past. So obviously everything else is in the past. So if you have now no money in the bank, it's in the past. It's something that you created. Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's something that you created in default. You did not know you were doing it. So don't blame yourself, but it's something that you created in the past and it's right now, it came to fruition. But this is not any way that you can create your future. And we want to talk about how you can create a better future. So let's go to the 5% that you are using your imagination. This is where you can create new things. And this is the amazing part because this is where you really want to be most of the time. So, why is it only 5%? I get so excited. I told you I forget things. This is exciting part, an exciting part for me. I love this, as you can see. Okay, so let's continue. 5% of the time, we are in this amazing zone. Okay, that's where we can create. That's where we can think about our future. That's where we can do things for our business, though, new things. This part, though, you're in this part only if you're happy. If you're creating now because you have a list and you're saying, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to edit, I have to go here, I have to do this for this client, that's not creating. That's doing by default on your old system. When you're in your 5%, it's only when you shut down the past, you're in the present creating a future. And whenever you're there, you're happy. That is how you know that you're in this stage. Okay. And you're creating something really new and something that's exciting to you. So even when you're sitting down in the forest, and I'm sure anybody who's an outdoor photographer knows that you're so high taking the photos, you come home and like, oh my god, when did I step on poop? And how do I have all these thorns all over me? And why do I have stuff in my hair? It's like because you're so unconscious and so happy that nothing else matters. So that's how you know you're in this 5%, and that's how you know that you're creating, really creating now. Okay, so the good news and the bad news. So this took me back to a story. I was living in New York 24 years ago, and I was working for a company that was putting out phone systems for businesses. It was an Israeli company, and we were mostly working with a lot of Israeli companies in Manhattan, in Long Island, but all kinds. So we have this very big client. I totally forget what their name was. I'm just going to call them Veritas because it was one of my clients. And they were a huge account, meaning they brought in a lot of money every month. And they were like the most annoying company. I mean, the guy that worked there, oh my God, he drove us nuts. I was the operation managers. I was working, in charge of tech, all the techs, that were doing all the work. And this guy wouldn't stop calling, and really, he drove us nuts. So one day, my coworker, the manager that was co-working with me, came to me and said, "Oh my God, Gabby, I have bad news and I have good news." I said, "Okay, give me the bad news." He said, "We lost Veritas, the client." I said, "Oh wow. All right, give me the good news." He said, "We lost Veritas." And I was like, "Yay. We got rid of that annoying person that, was ruining our life." So in the same way, I'm gonna say the Zoom thing is bothering me. Okay. So the bad news is you're 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life. Only you. So there is nobody in this world that you can go to and say, this is your fault. Nobody's fault for anything, only you. That is the bad news. So now from my story, you understand also what's the good news. You're 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life. Only you. So, wow, what do we do with this information? So now it's sinking in. All right, if we are 100% responsible for everything that happens in our life, why won't we pick to be more in that 5% than in the 95%? I mean, the 95% sucks. We picked to be there? Yes, you did. But just because, you didn't know better. But you can't run a new program on an old operating system. Okay? So if you're coming now and you're saying, oh, okay, so I am going to be in the 5% now, and I'm going to think about this amazing business that I'm going to put together. I'm going to make $200,000 a year. Yay. But you're still working on your old operating system. So, what is that operating system going to do? It's going to come out immediately and say, there's no way you can do it. There's no clients in your area. You can't make money. People don't pay. It's recession. It's politics. It's before election. It's after election, whatever it is. So, what do we do? Uh-huh. So, the conclusion of this part is that if you want a new life, you will need to create a new operating system. Now, basically, we're going to be talking a lot in the next weeks. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to learn how to change our operating system to support whatever dreams we have, for our future. I want to just say, if you take and think in your head for a second about, let's say, a irrigation system, okay, the water sprinklers that go on your grass. You might have a problem that there's no pressure, okay? That means that something is stuck somewhere in the pipe that's coming now from the main water, thing to the irrigation system. So you have two things you can do. One is you can start digging, taking out that pipe, looking through it, cleaning it, looking if it has holes, trying to figure out, putting it back in, covering the soil, going home. Client calls you a day after, there's still a problem, it didn't happen, you come back, you do it again, okay? The other way of doing it is you just take a new pipe, put it instead, connect it to the irrigation system, and bam, everything's working. So this is what we're going to learn to do. We don't have to go into the past. We don't have to try and figure out, what it was that our parents put in our operating system. It doesn't matter. You are going to learn how to put new pipes that will bring what you do need into this operating system so that it supports the rest of your life the way you want it to be. So this is part one. Okay. We'll do questions at the end. I just want to kind of write your questions and everything. Oh, another thing I was going to say, because in the next weeks, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about actual situations. If you are looking and hearing what I'm saying, and you have a situation in your head that you're going through, and you're saying, that isn't my fault, that's somebody else, or something is conflicting with what I am saying here, write it down and we will talk about it. We will, take it apart and figure out how it does work with whatever it is that I am teaching today. And in general, we will talk about specific situations like I want to make money. That's most people know. I want to make money and blocks. How can I figure out how to do it? We talk about money blocks. Okay. It all will come and work though on all this information. That's why we're starting with this. So you can also write things, and for the next Zoom, you can send me also questions afterwards or whatever if you don't want to do it obviously here, and we will and I'll give help uh, doing that. Okay, so forget about the we were a computer geek until now. Now we're becoming a chemist geek. All right. So the chemistry lab is basically where everything happens. Okay. So I'm going to invite you into my chemistry lab. You got to wear your white coat. Come in. And oh my God, what's going on here? Okay. In this chemistry lab, imagine this is what I said. Graphics is not my best thing. So imagine that's easier. On the right side, a huge wall full of bottles, full of chemicals. These are all the stress chemicals in the world. Okay, we're not going to go into names. I'm sure everybody knows names of different kinds of chemicals. The left side has a lot of bottles, and they all have the happy chemicals. Okay, so this is where we're at. We come into the lab. In front of us, we have a TV. Okay, now this is our brain. Okay, the chemistry lab is our brain. There's a TV. Okay, it's could say it's your eyes, but it's not really your eyes because this is now in your head, so it's the other side of your eyes. And you are going to project photo, a short video, whatever it is, and get a chemical reaction. Okay, so let's start. You see the couple on the right side. They're upset, they're unhappy, they're fighting, they're whatever. Bam! They get hit by all the bottles of the stress chemicals from the right. They're stressed, they feel bad, their body feels bad, they're reacting to the world in a way that is not nice because they're so frustrated with themselves. And they shut down everything that has to do with the left side with the happy chemicals. Why? Because they're in fight and flight mode. Fight and flight mode is the mode that the brain goes into once it takes out any of these stress chemicals, because it goes back to nature and it says, oh, there's a lion. Bam, we can't deal with anything else right now. We have to take everything and deal just with this. And that is what the body is doing. So if you're getting all of these bad chemicals and you're all stressed, you cannot be in any place that creates anything in that 5%. Okay. So this is a lot of what goes in our 95%, not all the time. But there is always, at every second of your life, there is some picture that you're showing yourself, and there's some chemical reaction happening. That is you. That's how you work. So on the other hand, you can look on the TV on the left side and you see a happy couple, and they're so, lovey-dovey, and they're bam, bam, way, all these great chemicals coming in, coming in, coming in. You're feeling great. You're high, just like we were talking about when we're photographing, you're getting this great, great feeling, and you're shutting down everything from the right side. Nothing bad can come at that point. Okay? So basically, we have a system that shuts each other down. They work simultaneously. I mean, you can get some of both, obviously, all the time, but we're working by default. We don't know that we can be in charge of this chemistry lab. So if I say, hey, this on the left side is all the great chemicals, how much do you want of it? Would you say only 5% of the day I want to feel that? Sure not. At that point, you're like, oh my God, give it to me all day. That's why we're like drug addicts. Okay. I said you're addict. So you're addict without knowing to the bad chemicals, and you keep getting and keep getting, and you need another hit, another hit, another hit, because you're so used to it. That's what your body is used to. So if you want to start getting the good chemicals, your body is going to have a bad reaction, quote unquote, because you're like trying something new. So for people who are not ready for that pushback, they'll say, you know what, this is not for me. I can't do this. This is nonsense. This is a happy talk. This is, Oh, mindset, it's bullshit. It's nothing. There is real life. Bam, bam, bam. Right, right, right. Chemicals. Yeah, yeah. This is what I'm used to. Good, good. Now I feel good. Okay, so this is our brain. This is what happens during the day. So, for example, just look at this picture. Wait for a few seconds. Wait for the chemicals. Like, oh, yeah, give it to me. Good chemicals. Funny. Hey, happy, happy. Woo! Isn't that great? And then you get this. And what do you feel? Now, nothing changed with you. You didn't do anything except put a different picture in your brain. Okay? Now, this will bring out all the stress hormones. You could probably look at each one of these pictures and feel that happened to you at one point. Okay? Oh, I was sad here. Oh, I hated when my baby was crying. And oh, my friend, I had to help her because she's got cancer. Whatever it is. Okay? This will bring you the bad chemicals. But the second you go back to this, you're like, oh, whew, oh my God, look at that. Wow. That's so funny. Okay. It's a totally different place. So, this is a small way to show you how your brain is working and how you are in charge at every moment. Now, if you put a picture in your head and you say, "Oh," and I'll take it to mind. Oh, Israel, the war in Israel. Oh, October 7. Oh, this. Oh, that. I'm taking it to the extreme, and that's because it's true. You cannot do anything about that. You can only bring yourself bad chemicals. So at this point, I tell you, is that what you want to do? Or do you want to pick a different picture and bring yourself good chemicals? Life is short. Be happy. Be happy. You're not going to change the world by being unhappy. You're going to change the world by being happy. Okay, so let's talk again about how this works. You get a thought, it's a picture. Okay, think of it. I wrote reel. That brings it to Instagram, Facebook Life. A short video. You're thinking about something, you have a picture. I remember my daughter, when she would get upset about something and she would cry, I'd say, "Why are you crying?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Okay, what's the picture in your brain?" Because we're reacting to something that's happening. Okay, now it's not happening out here, it's happening in here. So if you're able to find out what that picture is in your brain and change it, then you'll feel better, just as we did right now. Okay, so the thought brings the chemicals out. That's how our body works. There's a thought, chemicals are produced by the brain, they go into our blood system. The blood system, is in all of our body. We get this feeling. The feeling is either we're stressed, we feel really shitty. And then what happens? Your immune system is goes down, your heart starts feeling bad, you can't you physically feel really bad, you're very tired, everything in your body is now reacting to these chemicals that you took. Now, after you took these chemicals, what kind of action can you have? Only one kind of action, one that comes from these chemicals. So you'll get upset at somebody in the supermarket for doing something stupid. Somebody's going to talk about something and you're going to get upset. You're going to yell at your kids. You're going to yell at your husband. You're going to want to get out of everything because everything sucks. Life sucks and everything, is bad. And your action is that way. And that way, you're creating a circle because now once you did this action, you get this, picture in your brain again that says, oh, life sucks. You see, I knew it because this now happened and now this happened. I was right. Life sucks. Bam, you get all these other chemicals again. Yeah, like give me my fix. Give me my fix. Life sucks. Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel bad, but at least I know this place. So I feel comfortable. It's good for me to feel sucky. Okay? And it goes around and around. And the other is right too. Okay? If you have now a good thought, If you put a good picture, if you have this happy reel, like, I imagine a lot, I have a dream of going to Antarctica and photographing the penguins, right? So I can sit and imagine, me just, walking around Antarctica. It's very cold. And the penguins and everything, the scenery, and it just makes me happy. I'm not there. But you know what? Our brain does not know to differentiate between something that we call real and something which is imagination. It's all in our imagination. It's all in our imagination. So it's our decision what we imagine. Okay? So if you're imagining how bad life is, okay, great. That's your imagination. It's the story you're writing. It's the video that you created right now. You're the script writer, right? You created that script. There could be somebody standing right next to you doing exactly, wanting to do exactly the same things as you, and they don't feel the way you feel. Why? Because anything that happens is neutral. It only becomes what it is through our perception of it. Okay? So, somebody can fall on the ground and one person will cry and one person will laugh. Why? That's how they're built. Okay? So anything that happens, remember this. And because a lot of times, like, oh, this happens to me and this happens to me, and that's why I'm feeling bad. Every action that happens around you is neutral. You can decide how you feel about it. I'll give you a little example. This is pre my mindset years, I would say, and but I was already, I guess, getting ready for it. um, I'm in a gas station in Israel. Now, Israelis, I don't know if you know, but Israelis, like you think of Italians or something, they're very temperamental. They are very loud. They're very, out there. And I park my car to get gas, and I go into the store to buy some chocolate or something. Now, there's a lot of people in the gas station waiting to get gas. And when I went into the store, there was a line. So I got stuck there. So I come out, and there's this guy waiting in back of me to get gas. And he starts yelling and screaming at me. He's like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing? Where did you go? You don't think about other people, blah, 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 blah." He's yelling at me. And at that moment, I was somehow able to become, like I say, from the bird view. There was no him or me or anything. It was like, oh my God, poor guy. What happened to him? Why is he so upset? Maybe something happened at home. Maybe just having a bad day. Maybe I should go hug him and say, it's okay. Don't worry. Everything will work out. Okay. Now, at the same time, in a different lifetime, I would, oh my God, all my blood vessels will come out in my brain. And, I was like, I want to kill him. Who does he think he is? What is he thinking? Why is he yelling at me? Okay. That is where you decide. There is something happening in front of you. There is a video happening. It's like a movie. It's like you get upset at something happening in the movie. And then you say, what, am I stupid? Why am I getting so upset? Because, you can see your kids sometimes in front of the TV saying, oh my God, don't do that. They're talking to the TV. They're talking to what's happening in the TV. It's like they're almost in that. But you know what? Every single thing you think of and see, it's a movie. How are you going to react? How are you going to react to that? Another thing this was funny. I talked about this with my daughter, and then it actually happened one day. You're driving and somebody is you're cutting you on the road and you're getting totally upset. Oh no, you cut them or you go back to the right lane and they're there and they're honk, 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 and then they give you the finger. Okay. Now you at that point can decide whether you say, oh, what a nice manicure. Or you can say, oh my God, what did she think she's doing? Give me the finger. Oh, well, didn't she see that I just didn't see her? Whatever it is, your decision. So one day, my daughter, when she started driving this year, she came to visit in Florida. She's in New York. And we were driving, and she was driving. She just got her license, and she was pulling over to the right lane. Somebody was there, started honking her, passed us on purpose, gave her the finger. And we were just dying laughing. Like, did you see the manicure? So, yeah, we decide how we react to anything. Now, our operating system, again, is so pre programmed to do things a certain way, we don't even think that we have a different way. Hey, if somebody disrespects me, there's only one way that I can react. I'll get pissed at them. How do they dare disrespect me? Okay, so this is the flow of anything, any minute in your life. So it goes to show how you can change everything in your life. It's all up to you. It's all in your brain. They say, right, there's a life is a stage and we're just actors or something like that. So I say, no, don't be the actor. If you're the actor, you're working on somebody else's script. Be the script writer. The whole world is a stage. I'm the script writer. I can live whatever I want, however I want. I'm going to write it up. I want to make $1 million a year. Okay, make $1 million a year. Change your operating system to support that. Okay, things to stay away from. And the last one is very funny. I know it seems very, you will never understand until you were in my masterclass. So, okay, things to stay away from. Social media. Social media is, and I don't mean for a business. Okay, for a business, we have to be in social media. We have our pages or groups, whatever. We do social media. That's one thing. Staying away from social media is, first of all, posting bad things. Oh my God, so many times I see, my friends, I see my students, I see, people posting bad things about their life. Now, what happens if we think about everything that I just talked about? You put out now a post that says, life sucks. I went to the hospital. They didn't treat me well. They did this, they did that. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Blah, 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 blah. Now you put that out in the world. Now, not just you put that out in the world for that 5 minutes that you're talking about it. You put it out in the world for people to start commenting on and create a conversation around it. And you're answering the comments. And oh my God, bam, 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 bam. You're in the zone of the bad chemicals all day, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days. I actually told people, take down that post. Oh my God. Why would you post something like that? Okay. So we have to be much more conscious to what we're putting out to the world because it's affecting the chemicals in our body. Now you have to be very conscious now that you get good chemicals and not the bad chemicals. It's never 100%. Okay. I'll say it ahead of time. Don't worry, it's never 100%. We always need to do things also through we'll call it bad things that happen to us, but I don't call it bad things. It's how you learn. The only way to know what you do want is by knowing what you don't want. And that's how you tweak your life. So when you go through something that you think is bad, no matter how bad, no matter how hard, instead of looking at it and saying, oh, life sucks, the cards that was dealt were bad. I mean, we have all these sayings about how life sucks and how I have nothing to do about it. Well, we do have something to do about it. And first of all, if you look at a situation and give it gratitude and say, thank you. Thank you for being here because this reminds me I still have stuff to learn. And I'm so anxious to learn. I want to see what I'm going to learn out of it. And it can be to the extreme. Okay. I mean, I'll give you an example that's really at the extreme. I have a friend in Israel that her ex-husband killed her 3 kids. Okay. Now, the first year, she was like, okay, I'm just going to make sure he gets 3 life sentences and then I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to join my kids. That's, that was how she was. But then she changed and she said, you know what? I'm going to take this experience and I'm going to devote my life to teach women about silent abuse. It's not physical abuse. Okay. And she wrote books and she lectures and she does, everything now to take that to a good place. So We don't want that to happen to everybody, obviously, but that's an extreme to show you. If you now are going through whatever it is, look at that situation, acknowledge it in a good way, and say, oh, wow, I wonder what's going to become from this, because I'm going to learn something new and something new is going to happen from it. I remember myself crying on the floor. This is a year after I started photographing. I don't know if I broke up with a boyfriend or something, and I was crying on the floor. But at the same time, I was laughing. And I was saying to myself, all right, it can't get worse than this. That means only something good is going to come out of here. Well, you know what? Now I'm getting excited to see what it is that's going to happen now. And that's actually when I started studio and started the tree catching. Okay. It kind of drove me, to try something new and get into something interesting that will take my mind off of whatever it was. And as you see, I do not remember what it was already, but I do remember starting the treat catching, because that's where the creative part comes out. That's our 5%. That's where I was happy. And that's what I remember at the end also from that situation. So social media, it's, as we said, both posting and um, commenting on other people. Okay. So there are a bunch of posts and you want to comment and you want to say different things. And I find myself 90% of the time, writing a comment and then deleting it and continuing my life and turning off, social media. Why? Because I test my feeling about that comment. So it could be neutral, kind of, but I always say, is this where you want to put your time now? Is this very important? Are you going to better this person's life with this comment? Or are you going to make them happy? Is it going to be good? Maybe they'll look at it and think that you wrote it condescendingly, or if the moment that they feel there's a little bit of energy that might not be perceived in the right way, I delete it and I continue. Okay. If there's something that's very obvious to me that I can help or make somebody happy, or say, I love you, you're amazing, your work is great, whatever it is that you can make somebody happy, fine. You're in that good zone. You're in good chemicals. It feels good to help people, right? But do it in the right way. Do it in a way that you feel good. Okay. News. Oh my God. Oh my God, news. Well, another Israeli thing. Uh, on the radio in Israel, every hour there's news. You get 5 minutes of highlights of news every single hour on all the radio stations. And there's a family thing, not, yes, for dinner too, but also for 8 o'clock news. Everybody sits down to watch the news. Why? Because we were told if you don't know what happens in the world, you're not a good person. You cannot be a part of this world if you don't know what's going on in this world. But you know what? What are they showing us on the news? Are they showing us anything good? If it was a good news channel, nobody will watch. Everybody wants to watch the bad. Why? Because they're addicted to those chemicals. So we're watching to get more and more of those chemicals because we want to feel that we're in our known zone. So I stopped watching news like 20 years ago, and I live in one of the worst countries for not knowing what's happening, Israel, right? War zone. But you know what? My life was better. People see me say, "Oh, you're so happy." I say, "Yeah, I don't watch the news." You know? Politics. I don't get into politics. I don't care. Biden, Schmeiden, Trump, bump, whatever, Kamala, whatever her name was, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. Nothing real. I mean, what they do there has nothing, at the end, really, in my opinion, has nothing to do with you. Only you and your brain and what you create for yourself in your own world and your little stage, that's what's you. All the rest is nonsense. It's just not worth the time that you spend getting bad chemicals from it. Oh, he voted for this guy, and oh, he voted for this guy, and I hate him because he voted, and I hate him. But oh, we love hating. We love being in different groups. This group hates that group. That group hates that group. That group hates two groups. That group hates three groups. Oh my God. Whether it's religion, whether it's whatever it is, we're grouped up in so many things that we're good, you're bad. You know what? Everybody's good. Look at that baby born. It's just a computer without anything. It just got all kinds of programs on it. Everybody is good. Everybody was born good. Everybody does things and reacts to things or whatever, but everybody is good. If you start looking at everybody in the world as a good person, no matter what, life will be better. The world will be better. So I strongly advise not watching the news. Okay, you can't 100% again. Obviously, when 1,200 people were slaughtered in Israel on October 7th, I saw the news, but I give myself, seconds. All right, it could be in Abraham Hicks is one of the people that I follow. She says you have 16 seconds. So if you want to be upset and do something, you have 16 seconds. After that, you have to stop, or else it becomes already a part of your life, and you don't want that. So you have to, even if you are doing whatever it is, we're not 100%. We're people at the end, and we are going to go through different things. We will be learning. We need to tweak ourselves, but try to be there the least amount of time as you can. Okay, because that is what's going to determine how you feel and how you create your life. So you should be conscious about what you're doing. So the third thing is people with bad energy. We all know them. Now, it could be a sister, it could be a mother, it could be a friend, it could be anybody. Okay, and then you're like, oh, but it's family, I have to. Or it's my best friend, I need to listen to her. Whatever it is, I want to tell you one thing. There is no thing in this world as a I have to or I need to. There is only I want to. And if you are able to change your life to do only what you want, even if somebody says, so you know what, you're so selfish, you say, you know what, yeah, I am. And this is how everybody should be. Selfish to being happy. Okay? So it's like if any of you follow Megan DePiero, she always says when somebody says to you, you're too expensive, you say, yeah, right? Yeah, that's a good thing. It means that I value myself. Okay? So um stay away from these people. Or elevate the conversation to where you are in a good place. So if somebody calls to bitch about something, then what you do is you say, oh, you know what? And take him to something else. Talk about something happy. Talk about, oh, you remember when this happened and that happened, that we had so much fun? I don't know. Take it somewhere else. If you can't, tell that person, I'm sorry, but I really cannot do this conversation right now. Why not? Okay? So try to, in all realms of your life, just try to do and be conscious of doing things that make you feel good. Okay? And we're going to talk about in the next classes about fishing those thoughts, meaning if you're conscious of a bad thought, fish it, see it, acknowledge it, say thank you. One of the things that I say to myself is like, we'll talk about, we'll talk about it with Peppy. So that's people that have bad energy. Now, why Pippi Longstocking? So if anybody knows, this is a red-headed girl with pigtails that go to the side. It's, I think, from the 70s, maybe something like that, a movie, a book. In Hebrew, she was called Bilbi. And now I understand why they changed the name, because Pippi in Hebrew is P. So they couldn't call her Pippi. So Pippi Longstocking is that redheaded, funny little girl with the braids going to the side. Okay, why did I put this here? Because on the last masterclass, I was talking about your inner thoughts. Okay, we have outer people that are talking to us shit. We have our inner voice that also has, oh wow, she has so much to say, like a very, very good Jewish mother. Okay. So she's like, wah, 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 wah. She always, you want to do something? She's like, oh, you can't. No, no, don't do it. Don't do it. So I say, make that voice something you can relate to. Like, have a picture of Pippi. Okay, like it's this annoying girl talking to you. And once you can make it like a person and you can relate to it, because you're like, okay, for example, I had a throughout life, there were these moments that I had ideas of businesses to do. Okay. So when I was in high school, we wanted to do a yearbook. There was no money. So that year, the person who was running the kiosk in the school wasn't going to come that year. So I said, you know what? Let's put up a kiosk in the school and we'll make money that way for the yearbook. And we actually did it. And for a full year, we ran, the voices come and they say, what do you know about selling food in a school? And what do you know about buying stuff? And what do you know about making money? And what? Okay, that's a wah in your ear. Now you decide what you do with that. You can shut it off and say, in a nice way, thank you so much for taking care of me. And I know it comes from a very good place that you're afraid that something bad will happen to me. But you know what? I've got this. When I say to myself, I've got this, oh my God, I feel so good. It's so empowering. So if you have any thought, in your brain that's trying to take you down from something that you feel like you really want to do, try this and say, thank you. I really appreciate you caring about me, but you know what? I've got this. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So to me, that was Pippi, talking to me. You can pick whoever you want. And we want to stay away as much as possible from getting into a conversation with our inner voice. All right. So everything, will take time. This is, just kind of, for some of you, maybe the first time you're hearing it. For some, maybe you've heard it before, you've done some of it. But you really have to do this all the time to make it your operating system and make it part of your life at the end. So, what are we saying? If we want a new life, we want to know how to get a new operating system that can support all of these good conscious feelings, 5%, place of creativity that we want to do for ourselves in our life. And that is what we are going to be learning basically in the next couple of weeks. So I said at the beginning, make the world a better place. Why is this making the world a better place? So first of all, if we build a community of, as I said, the Mindset Anonymous, we are helping each other, and we will be able to. It will be a little easier to get rid of the addiction that everybody has and transfer into a new addiction, but a good one, which is the good chemicals that we want to get. Maybe we'll have a sponsor community that, new people that come in and are just starting this journey. We'll have somebody who's been in already for a year or two. And when they have a problem, they call him. I mean, I have a friend, in Israel that every time if she has, something going on, she calls me, but she doesn't call me to bitch and moan. She knows I won't let her. She calls me to say, okay, Gabi, talk to me, remind me, what do I do in my brain in order to get out of this situation? Okay. And that's what we want. We want, people that will be able to help us, because we are always, me too, we're always in situations. So if you ask me how much time of my day in average I think I'm in the 5%, well, I am now, I could definitely say 80%. I have 80/20. Okay. And that's amazing, because it comes to the point that your operating system is so, ready for it. Just throw it at me, I'll figure it out. I mean, I moved here to America without any money. Okay, I had no money. I came with my camera. My parents paid for 2 months rent, a small car, and a laptop for me to start here in Florida. Okay, and I'm like, ooh, I'm so good, I'm gonna make it. And yeah, 3 weeks after, I made $5,000 with my first client. But you know what happened afterwards? COVID hit. All right. But when I went with my daughter to the supermarket, she knows I tell the story all the time. When I went with my daughter to the supermarket and she asked me for strawberries, And I said to her, Eden, I can't afford it. It's $6. I can't afford it. We can only buy, necessities right now. But at the same time, I told her, you know what? This is going to be a great part of the story. When I become a millionaire, I'm going to tell this story. So I'm not a millionaire yet, but I definitely am going to go there. And these are the things that have to do with your mindset. Okay? Things will happen. You don't have money, you do have money, it doesn't matter what it is. It's your perception of what's going on and how you deal with it. So I don't have money, I go to the gas station, and you know, people are like, "Oh, that gas station is cheaper and 2 cents, and that gas station is cheaper at 20 cents, whatever." And I told my daughter, I am going to live in the mindset of a millionaire. A millionaire doesn't care if it's 20 cents more or less. They just go to the nearest gas station. And that's what I did. I went to the nearest gas station and I filled up gas and didn't think about, it can be cheaper, can't be cheaper. So again, everything is at the end in our brain. Okay. So at the beginning, it's a little harder to get used to doing it. So obviously, if people need more help or whatever, first of all, I'm here. Maybe we'll open a separate group for people that are doing the mindset, or I don't know, whatever. It will all come from you. I'm doing this. I have no plan yet. It's just kind of a feeling that I have this information that I have to spread as much as possible to help people get, happier, be better. And everything that I teach, also when I teach the IPS and when I do the workshops, everything that I teach comes from the place I want to help people. I really just want to help people. So how this is going to become what it's going to become, I don't know. But I'm sure that it's going to help at least one person from today, maybe everybody. I don't know. You guys can afterwards, tell us how you felt about this conversation. I'll open it to Q&A also in a minute, and yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. I think it's going to be also a YouTube channel. So the last thing is pay it forward. Now, pay it forward is one of the nicest things, in this world. And it can be the people that are paying for people in front and back of them when they go to drive-throughs. That happens, I hear here in America, that somebody just decides, oh, I'm going to pay also for the guy in back of me. So doing good things and surprising people and just being nice is, I think, the best things. And paying it forward means you're getting all this information. It's going to help you. It's going to make your life better. Help other people. Show them the way. Don't make people. Okay. I put up this information that there's going to be this Zoom. I have 600 people in the group. I have a email list with 200 people of the people from the group mostly. And here we are, 10 people. I don't know, something like that, that actually came into the Zoom. Yeah, others, want to watch it afterwards, but still, not everybody is ready. It's exactly like somebody who is an alcoholic. You can't go to an alcoholic and say, you have to go to AA. We all know that. They have to want to do it themselves. So if you become somebody of example, people will be coming to you and asking you, what have you done? How have you become such a happy person? And then you can share. Okay, you can give them some information, you can give them some tips. Maybe you took something from this conversation that you can afterwards go and tell a friend, when you're talking about something, say, you know what, oh my god, you got to do this, try it, wow. I never thought about it this way. Okay, so that's paying it forward. Which brings us to the beginning, that this whole thing is about becoming the script writer of your life. And that is what I want to give you guys, and I want you to be able to do together. And I hope that this has helped you in any way to take another small step towards that, because that would be amazing. So now, if anybody wants to say anything about what we just talked about, um, wait, now I only see that Montessori. Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't Montessori, but it's another one, yeah. And Laurie said thanks. Okay, does anybody want to unmute and say something? You can raise your hand, I guess, or however you do that. Where's my wait, I want to unpin myself here. Okay. Anybody want to say anything? Stevie, Diane, Lori, Stacy. Nobody wants to talk? Oh my god.
Hey, I do. I'm sorry. My kid was in here telling me his plans. I have a kid home from college.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is wonderful. Thank you. I had soccer schedule conflicts that canceled because I'm in Pennsylvania. It's cold and snowy, and I'm so grateful I got to hop in here. It's a lot of little light bulbs going on and realizations that actually a lot of what you're talking about has been kind of I've been experiencing. I'm just not realizing that and putting that whole understanding on it. That's
Right.
fantastic. Yeah, no, this is wonderful. This is a place I need to be to grow my business. So I am grateful for this. And
Okay.
just getting my mindset. Yeah, super. Yeah, it's fascinating. Again, like it's not something I've researched, looked into. So that whole concept of our operating system and that not even being ours and handed to us and kind of like saying, no, I'm creating my own now is fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh, and I feel like I'm organically starting to do that again without putting a finger on it being what you're teaching. So thank you. It's wonderful.
Well, I think that because all of us were born clean of operating systems, it's our nature, not to be with somebody else's operating system, basically. So the more we're attentive to what happens in the world, and the more we want to be happy, we start doing things on our own, especially when we cross, I think, the age of 40. um, I think, I don't know, in the Jewish religion, there's also a saying that only after the age of 40 you can start learning Kabbalah, which is the more philosophical, books, because that's when you start being more calm in your life, and the kids are grown up if you have kids or whatever, and you're kind of more settled. So yeah, things, if you're open to it, things start happening, and you're like, when you find that person or that way that suddenly says, oh my god, this is putting everything now in order, and now I can even be conscious of how I'm doing it. That's how I felt 6 years ago when I, found all the people that I found now. I totally, if you're more into the scientific part, Joe Dispenza is amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, all these names we're going to talk about also in the future, because what we're going to do is also I'll be giving you, let's say, a video to watch on YouTube, and then we're going to have a conversation about it. Okay, it's not going to be me teaching all the time. It'll be more taking real life stuff and kind of dissecting it and talking about it, and getting to understand how to do different things to get better in our life. Yeah. Thank you, Stacy. Anyone else?
Sure. Wait, can I just quickly say too, yes, I'm in my 40s. That's when it's all starting to be like, they have that saying too, there's no F's left to give. And
There's
I
no
guess
what? What?
yeah, I'm using a bad word with just the first letter. No F's left to give. No fucks left to
No
give.
fuck. Yeah,
Get to my
okay.
point.
That's okay.
But it's also a really hard pill to swallow as a mom of three kids to think that and to think back on how I was during those 0 to 7, and how much should have not been the way it was, and not having that awareness at that time and being like, I mean, I remember yelling a lot and like, man, that was a
Me
rough
too.
phase and that was forming them and they were little. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back. I guess now I have this information and this learning to share with them as they're getting into their adulthood. I mean, they're teenagers still, but yeah, that's hard. That's a really hard pill to swallow. I gotta be honest.
But you remember what I said before I started?
You're
Don't
right.
take this to a place that you feel bad about anything that you did in your life. Everything happens the way it's supposed to be. Everything happens in the right timing. Everything is perfect. Universe is perfect. God, if you want to call it, is perfect. and everything is working exactly the way it's supposed to. Your kids, they might find this information, they might not. Whatever they went through, they had to go through, because that's how they became who they are, and that's how they will continue becoming who they are. If they're interested in your information, they will seek it, but not because you tell them they have to learn it, but because they will see the change in you. And when you change and you're happy and you're, a different person, they will want to learn from you. I mean, I have my daughter here on the Zoom. Okay. She's still hiding. And then if you want to show yourself, you can. But there she is, my daughter Eden. So she, oh my God, you know how much I used to yell, and she can say I used to yell. I was unhappy. I was, a very, very depressed person at certain parts of my life. From 0 to 7, I mean, her dad was going through bipolar. I mean, oh my God, what was going on in her life? But at the age of 14, when we started kind of, she, again, I didn't tell her you have to learn this. I said, she saw the change in me, and she was listening a little bit when I was listening to stuff, and she was getting more interested. And then it happened that we would take a car ride, and she'd say, Mom, can you do that talk to me, because I have this thought in my head, it's not good, can you talk me out of it? So she really, got into it on her own at the end. And I think that, we're only, again, responsible for ourselves, only for ourselves, even though, again, in our operating system, it says you have to take care of your kids, you have to manage your kids, you have to. But we said there's no have to. And each kid is a soul that's brought into this, universe, and has its own path to go through. And you know what? It has nothing to do with you. Sorry. It just has nothing to do with you. You're here, just the pipe that brought them here. And they went through whatever, and they'll learn the way they're supposed to learn, and everything, will be just the way it's the best for everybody. Be the person that people want to learn from, because you are being so happy, so good, so giving, whatever it is, okay? And that will, attract the people wanting to get the knowledge also, and then you can help them after you figure it out. You can also help, others. Okay. Anyone else? Josh? Elena? Lori? Okay. So thank you very much for being here. I'm obviously going to have to do this now all over again, because I didn't record it. So but you know what? I did it like 4 or 5 times before we got on the Zoom in the past days, because that's how I get used to something. Because every time I change the way I do it, Diana's been in my course, she knows every time I teach it, it's a little different and it evolves. So, oh, hi, Alina. So I had to go through it 4 times. Another time is not going to change it. I'm just going to do it again to myself. So, Alina, do you want to say anything? No. Okay. All right. Well, anybody who can obviously join next week too, and we're going to start talking more about how we can actually create the change. And I would love to hear from you in the group. If you something from this conversation pops in your head during the week, something happened, you changed something because of what you heard here, come in the group, let us know. It's creating this community that is able to talk this language that's, I think, most important to me. So I'd love to hear from you, at any time. Okay? Perfect. Well, have a great weekend, everybody, and go be happy.